Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Mika Perea, and I'm your host for MSM Campus Connect. Today's webinar is brought to you by MSM Unify. MSM Unify is the tech platform of M Square Media, or MSM, a leading education services provider working with colleges and universities to recruit more international students and diversify their campuses. In today's webinar, we will be covering the topic of COVID-19, which I know everyone's curious about, to say the least, and how it has affected the concept of studying abroad. We are looking to shed some light on some of the concerns that you, as students considering pursuing or continuing your studies abroad, might have, given the current atmosphere. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. We will be using the Q&A function, and that's going to allow you to ask all questions you might have on the topic at hand. So for those who do have questions, please type them onto the question box, to the chat box below, and I'll bring them up once we've opened the Q&A floor. To help us answer those questions, we have with us on the panel today two members of the MSM family who are working diligently alongside our agents to cater to the needs of students from the Middle East and South Asia, respectively, who are considering going overseas to pursue higher education. Together, we will attempt to address any concerns you, our students, might have regarding pursuing international studies in this very unique time. And with that, I'd like to ask our speakers to briefly introduce themselves, starting with the lovely lady to my right, as per my screen, Sana.
Thank you so much, Mika. My name is Sana Tasleem, and currently I'm looking after Pakistan region, especially for Canadian portfolio from Pakistan region. So yes, and I'm in this job past 11 years. I have recruited a lot of students, just like you, youngsters, for Canadian universities, and I have enjoying this job for so long. So I will share some insights today. So that's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you for that lovely introduction of yourself, Sana, and maybe we'll move on to Mostafa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mika, for the great introduction. My name is Mostafa. I'm looking after Egypt. I've been in the industry of higher education for 5 years now. And as Sana said, I can help you answer your questions, concerns, or anything related to the current situation. And I'm happy to help any one of you. Thank you so much, Mika.
Awesome. Thank you, Sana and Mostafa. We are excited to get a lot of insight from you on the topic at hand. And to all the attendees, I know you're all excited to learn from these two people. So without further ado, let's get into the meat of what we will be talking about today. So to start us off, here is a quick look into how we're doing in the higher education sector amidst this very unique and challenging time. We are well over a year and a half into this pandemic, and COVID is still pretty much around. And it's a top point of consideration for any endeavor, really, but most importantly, as it relates to travel, and therefore with regards to pursuing higher education overseas. And with that, we wanted to hold this session in an attempt to address any concerns or questions students may have about the current state of international studies today. Questions like, are universities taking admissions for the next immediate semester? Is it safe for students to go ahead with their applications, or is it best that they wait it out? Among many other questions or concerns students will maybe wrestling with these days. So we want to offer you tips on how to go about pursuing your studies abroad in such a unique time as this. And I keep saying the word unique, even though some of you may argue that this might just be the new normal for all of us going forward. But I feel like it bears repeating, and it's important for us to be mindful of how unique this time is, since I don't think we've had many instances in recent history where we witnessed a situation so vast in scale that industries have had to change the way things are done, like the way things have always been done. We've witnessed a lot of enterprises feeling the impact of this shift. Some have been put out of businesses, but what's amazing is that the higher education field, more importantly, the study abroad programs, have only picked up in relevance and demand, it seems, as the following slides will suggest. So let me just give you a quick presentation on that. All right. So a quick Google search on the status of international studies during this time will bring up news articles and data that will suggest that the interest for pursuing higher education abroad has only been steady even during this time. Data from a very recent study suggests that the attraction of moving countries to undertake in person higher education in foreign universities and colleges has not been reduced, even with the expansion of online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study showed that 79% were only considering overseas on campus options, while 10% would choose full online study with an international institution, and 10% would choose local in person studies at a college or university partnered with an overseas institution. The results showed two motivating factors. The first of which is ease of migration, which was cited by 63% of respondents who said that they were likely to use their foreign on campus qualifications and experience to ease migration after graduation to the country of their institution, while 65% said that they were interested in accessing post graduation working rights in these countries. Taking account of these factors, the survey showed that Canada was currently the most popular overseas study location for students questioned, followed by the UK, Australia, followed by the US, New Zealand, Germany, Singapore, and France. So that was a quick look into the status of the international studies during this time. And given the sustained interest in pursuing studies abroad, we think it would be really beneficial to address some of the concerns you might have should you decide to move forward. All right, hold on. We are going live. Okay, so with that, we will now go ahead with the panel discussion. So just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can enter them into the chat box below and we will bring that up throughout the discussion. And so one of the questions that we are interested in discussing and answering or addressing today is one question that I am interested in. I would like to know more about the students coming from the regions of Middle East and South Asia. So Mustafa, perhaps you can kick us off. Would you tell me more about the profile of students coming from Middle East? Like what sort of programs are they looking for? And what sort of postgraduate opportunities are they looking forward to having?
Well, from the Middle East, mostly the undergraduate students are looking for business studies, engineering, software engineering, some arts and design. It's a very unique formula for them.
Mm-hmm.
However, for the postgrad studies, they're mainly asking for a Master's of Business Administration or Master of Science in so many fields like engineering, software engineering, robotics, automotive engineering as well is a very popular program for our students. And it's just similar to most of the regions in South Asia.
Mm-hmm. And what about the postgraduate opportunities that they're looking for? Do we have any information on that?
Do you mean the programs they're looking for in the postgrad studies?
Postgrad studies, yes.
Yeah, mainly Masters of Business Administration. Some of the Arab students are holding their families' businesses, families' companies, so they want to go abroad to get their master's degree so they can come and run their family business. Master of Science in the automotive engineering is a very popular course. Some of them try to get civil engineering, robotics, and some other are interested in software engineering. So these are maybe the main important courses for them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us a profile of what an ordinary student from Middle East would be looking for. Now, Sana, would students from South Asia, would they be any different?
Yes, I would say that past 2 years, there was a trend that everybody was asking for MBA program, Masters in Business Administration. And we were trying to find out the universities and we were working with our partners to place the students for Masters in Business Administration. So there was a trend. But now, after this COVID, the trend has little changed. The entire world is shifted to IT. So now the students are asking for cybersecurity. Students are asking for MSIT. Students are asking for the combination of something engineering and IT. And I've seen that our institution in Canada, US, they're offering a very unique course, which was not before. So everything is attached with IT. Like, there's a very unique course named Bachelor's of Engineering with Software.
Software
So,
engineering.
yeah, or with IT, BEIT. So this is something a very rare and very unique courses that our partner institutions are offering. And this trend is just changed after this 2020, this
Mhm.
COVID. The topic is COVID-19 and the impact. So I've seen that this change has been just occurred recently. And now students are like more in demand with these courses. So yes,
Right.
in South Asia, there is a change.
Wow. Thank you for that. Now, given the demand for these programs that you mentioned, um, and given the profile of the students that you just described, we think it's important to also shed light on some of the concerns that these students might have had about pursuing higher education abroad, especially during this time, during the pandemic. So we have compiled a list of some concerns. And again, just to remind the people in attendance, if you have questions and concerns that we may not be able to discuss on our own, you can just uh, type them into the chat box and we will get to them once we open the Q&A floor towards the end of the discussion. So one of the concerns that we've cited is students are wondering what is the current situation of international student admissions at this point? Like, are universities taking applications or not? Any of you, what can you share on this, Sana or Mustafa?
So yes, universities are open for the admissions. We just finished our admissions for a January intake. Students are there, international students are there. Universities are open to take admissions, and luckily, in July, August, all the campuses are open. All SOPs are being followed by universities, whichever are being told by state, provinces, and of course by the this country.
Mhm.
So SOPs are being followed, students are going for quarantine, and yes, admissions are open, and people are like, they're applying, they're desperate to go abroad and to attend the classes. So yes, there is a trend, and I have observed that the graph of the admission is just been raised recently.
Mhm.
It went down somewhere around April 2020, or you can say in August 2020. But then again, it was upward in January 2021, and it's still
Right.
going upward. So yes, this is the actual graph.
Thank you for that. You could really feel the gradual shift. Like it's not really much of like going back to normal, but it's like we have been able to adjust to the current situation as it is.
See, for some countries, if we talk about some countries where the borders were closed and they are still very reluctant to recruit too many students, like
Yeah.
Australia, or I might say USA are open. But then, of course, the graph has been shifted to the other countries. People are
Mhm.
more going to UK. People are more going, they are asking for Canada as
Right.
compared to Australia, because these borders are still like, under discussion, or they're opening back. But there is a demand, there is a student, and student still wants to go abroad. So I must say that trend has been shifted, but
Mhm.
it's still there, and students are still going on. Yeah.
Right. So building up on that, granted that there is a demand, perhaps Mustafa can answer this question. First, for those students who are seriously considering going abroad for their higher education during this time, do you think it is safe for them um, to go to the partner institutions in the coming school year, or is it best to defer their applications considering the global conditions?
Well, as you said, Mika, building on what Sana said, the last year was a very big hit for the numbers of international students. It was really decreasing.
Mhm.
However, now it's shifting gradually upwards. Yeah, it's safe to come to our partner institutions in the current period of time. it's not the best option for them to defer their applications, considering the current global conditions. It's pretty safe, so they can just pursue their studies, bachelor or postgrad studies for the current time. And so there are so many assurances that most of the global population have been vaccinated, and there is very popular news 3 days ago, a couple of days ago, from the Pfizer CEO that there is a final cure for COVID-19. Not just final, it just decreases the casualties to 11% instead of 89%, which is a very good news for all of us, especially for the international students and our respective countries and our partner institutions as well. So yes, answering your question, it's pretty safe for now. So our students can come to our partner institutions at the time. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that, Mostafa. So, given that your answer of it being safe to go through with their application, once they've really decided on going abroad for their higher education, some students would be really curious as to knowing if there will be like any support coming from the universities to students who might still contract the virus in the institution countries. Like, do they provide health insurance? Is this something that the students should shoulder themselves? What do we know about this?
So yes, international universities are very helpful with the insurance. Whenever they're international students, they will apply for their admission. There is a cost of the insurance is already included in their you can say that in their admission process. So if they will look into their the fee structure, there will be a tuition fee, there will be some admin fee. So there will be some insurance fee included in the package already. So yes, international universities have some bonding with the insurance companies already. So and it will not cost student much. It will be maximum $40, Canadian dollars. And as far as I remember, there is one partner institution of MSM Unify. There is one institution, they have this Guard Me insurance. It cost 40, I think 42, 46, just so there is a difference. So yes, that's included, and student doesn't need to worry about that. Once student landed to the university, they will take care about it, and they will process. So it will be an automatic process, and they don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So aside from this support regarding the health insurance, some students are curious, like upon their arrival in the country, what kind of other support can they get from the universities, considering the various health protocols some countries have in place? For example, self-isolation or quarantining for 14 days upon their arrival. Mustafa, do you have anything to share on this?
Yes, Mika, actually I do. Well, it differs from states to another state. However, from our own partner institutions, they offer financial support for some of the students. They offer hostels for self-isolation. And some other states, they are not just open for quarantine. They satisfied with a PCR test, or if the student is vaccinated 3 or 6 months prior to his travel to the state. So yes, our partner institutions have some support for the students. They have more orientation sessions, especially of this unique time, as you mentioned, more colorful, and it's brightful, and they just have some giveaways and gifts so they can give the students whenever they arrive to our institutions. So yes, we have some support for our students.
That's great. That would be great news for the students watching us today. Sana, would you have anything to add on that regarding the additional support that they can get?
Yeah, I agree with Mustafa. I have also seen a lot of our partner institutions, they were offering some vouchers, quarantine vouchers to the hotel and hostels. And of course, because it was actually a very tough time, which is now settled down. But now everyone is vaccinated, and I know it's pretty bad that some of us we have actually lose our families
Mhm.
during this pandemic. But yes, our partner institutions are being nice. During that time, they were offering some, vouchers for this quarantine. And other than that, I have seen that the campus, they are absolutely following SOPs, and they have organized these, vaccination centers as well. So everything is available on the campuses. Yeah.
Thank you to the both of you for answering these questions. I imagine this will appease some of these concerns that our students have. But another question here is, what is the apparent impact of COVID-19 on the overall student experience? Would there be any changes in how classes are conducted? Will physical in-person classes be conducted, or are they strictly online? Or will it be a combination of both, aka blended learning? What do we know about this?
So, before pandemic, obviously everything was on campus. People were quite international students. They were quite happy. They were quite desperate to just reach to the destination. But right after COVID-19, I have seen that there has been changes has been implemented. If the student is not getting the visa on time, he can start his study online, right? So, which is a very good and positive attitude. I
Mhm.
must say a very positive element. There was some changes being done by the government of Canada. They were offering ATs as well, which means, if the student is even arriving late to the campus, it will not affect their post-study work permit. And that policy was valid last, I must say, March. So we are more hearing the news from the Canadian or US bodies, government, to give us some again news. So it is very very helpful with the student. The policies are there, and they're very helpful to achieve their goal, their career goals. And there are some policies like which will be really helpful, so it will not impact like their further studies. So yes, the trend is being shifted a little bit for the blending studies on campus and off campus. But I would like to highlight here, it's not only here the students they confuse with the distance learning program. So distance learning program, the videos is going on and the student is studying with the videos. But
Mhm.
now it's not the concept of the distance learning program. It's a program when you study virtually, like we are interacting. So the professor will be sitting in front of you, and then the student can talk with the colleagues, and he can prepare a project in a group. So this is something which is a very very helpful for the student, and this trend is being changed. It just come after this COVID. And I
Mhm.
think it's a very very positive change. By this change, student is sitting at their home country and they are saving a lot of accommodation cost, I must
True.
say. So yes, and there is, like, for the blended learning, they can 50% there can study their home country, 50% they are studying in the destination country. And once they arrive, it will not affect their PSW. So there are so many positive changes being occurred after this COVID-19. So students
Mhm.
should be happy, I think, and they should keep carrying on.
I agree. We, with all these concerns and how you were able to address them, I think they can only, I mean, things will be only be looking up for these students. Mustafa, would you like to add anything on that?
Yes, actually, building on what Sana said, speaking of the classes, our partner institutions have decided that they have a smaller groups in each class so they can make sure that the social distancing experience is here. They're taking a good care of our students. As I mentioned earlier, and as Sana mentioned, the orientation sessions, the info sessions related to COVID-19 and how to avoid getting infected with it is
Mm.
very good for the time being, and they're speaking about it a lot. So yes, Sana maybe covered it all, and just I'm adding the social distancing part. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I guess we
Well,
are down to our last two questions, but again, I would just like to remind all the people in attendance that if you have any more concerns and questions that we may not be able to we have not discussed like a few minutes earlier, you can type your questions in the chat box, and I'll bring them up as we go along. So the next question, aside from all those things that we've discussed just a while ago, some students are curious. Are there any initiatives? Are there any unique initiatives that the universities are taking to ensure that the overall student experience is good? Given the current situation, are there any policies that they've put in place that is unique to this time?
Yes, I must say that campuses, like since they are back to the normal, so they are more welcoming. And I have seen a lot of international universities, they have organized on the very beginning, certain orientation plans. So yes, it's a more colorful, I must say, because they wanted to welcome back. There is one big change I've seen and I've noticed is that the capacity of the classes has been reduced. Like for example, if we're taking per class student 50 before, now it's been reduced to 30 or 25. So because of the social distancing.
Social distancing.
So yes, so I must say that this is a big change. So if you are still thinking to apply for upcoming intake, which is in May in Canada or September intake in USA, so please apply as early possible, because now since we have less capacity, so less seats available. So I must say that you don't lose the seat, so you should apply early. So this is a very positive thing, and the students there is a very welcoming, more welcoming I've seen that institutions are than before, because students are coming after so many layers, first they have to been through for so many layers,
Yes.
COVID vaccinations and then test, and then after one destination to another destination because flights are not going direct. So yes, we've seen that they will see it's more welcoming. Yeah.
It's more welcoming and more supportive
Yes.
than ever before.
Yes. Yes.
That's a trend. Mustafa, would you like to add anything to that? You're muted.
I was on mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what I can just tell our students, our potential students who are listening to us right now, the time to pursue your degree is now. It's really safe. We have all our precautions, and the thing is, last year it was not that safe, but this year it's really a better situation. It's, as you mentioned, it's a very unique time, and as we spoke earlier, we mentioned that most of the global population have been vaccinated, and with the cure of COVID-19, I guess we're going back to normal before the pandemic. So I guess it's really important for them to start the applications at the earliest possible time.
Mm-hmm. On that point, I would also like to ask Sana, what would be your parting message to the people in attendance? What would be your message to the people in attendance who are possibly contemplating studying abroad, bearing in mind that the pandemic is still very much present?
I would recommend to all of my listeners to please keep going on, and whatever is your goal, please try to achieve your goal. Don't stop, because time is very good and time is running. So don't lose your focus and keep going on with your goals. Everybody is applying, and there is nothing happening as such. And whatever will be happen, state is with you, province is with you, universities with you, and we'll work together, and things are being very positive now. So be focused and keep going on towards your goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Sana and Mustafa. And with that, you know what? I could almost hear a collective sigh of relief among the people in attendance here today. So if there are no more questions, I guess let's just check the chat box for a bit. So I guess all of the questions that we have prepared for today have been answered. So I would like to thank our speakers so much for their valuable insights on the topic at hand, on the topic of international studies in the time of COVID-19. We appreciate you both for taking the time to address some of the most pressing concerns of students during this time. And to the people in attendance watching us today, thank you for joining us. And also, This session is proudly brought to you by MSM Unify. It's a one stop international education marketplace for your needs as a prospective international student, providing official information on thousands of programs, institutions, and top destinations, free study guides, and articles on virtually every topic within your study overseas journey. MSM Unify also connects you to the services you'll need in your journey, from student accommodation and loans to scholarships to payments and even internship opportunities. It has everything you need under one roof. So I invite you to check it out today by visiting www.msmunify.com. Again, that's www.msmunify.com. And if you're interested, if any of what we have shared with you today has appeased your concerns, you may directly contact our country managers, Mostafa Hassan and Sana Tasleem, in their respective regions. Of course, Mostafa Hassan is the country manager for Egypt. And Sana Tasleem is our country manager for Pakistan. And you can reach them on the details that is flashed on your screens right now. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.